And that is a prominent congressman, Adam Kinzinger, who represents, I believe, the 18th district in Illinois? 16th district in Illinois. A Republican, not necessarily always in lockstep with Donald Trump, and he joins us right now. Congressman, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thanks. Aren't you jealous of my job?
Pardon?
Aren't you jealous of my job sometimes?
I actually am. I actually am. I think your job is amazing.
It's a very important job.
It is.
Yeah.
What's your opinion about the way the president is dealing with rhetoric, given what has been going on in the country?
I think the president can do better. I think everybody can do better. I mean, you know, look, it's always interesting to me because after McCain passed, and I was good friends with McCain, I got to know him well in my time in Congress. And, you know, the thing people mistook about him, he was pretty fiery. I mean, he got pretty heated up on issues. He was a partisan. He really believed in his stuff, but he never took it personally. And he may for a night, you know, like stew on something, but nothing was ever deeply personal. And I think that's what's missing in this country now, and it's on both sides. Everybody, you know, when you watch people and they're like, well, I blame this side, or, you know, it's this side's, there maybe one side's more at fault, I don't know, but everybody needs to take a deep breath, because this isn't just about who wins in 7 days, and it's not even about who wins in 2 years. Really, the damage to the institution of government and democracy with this kind of rhetoric on all sides is going to have a lasting impact, and it worries me probably more than really any other issue in front of us at this time.
Congressman, I know what you're saying about the rhetoric on both sides, and it certainly is there. I guess the difference is there are things when you have rhetoric where you're talking about policy and you disagree with someone on policy, that's, I think, the norm. We're used to that. When you have elected officials all the way up to the president talking about sort of embracing violent acts, that's where I think it's gone too far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I think people can be fired up about their issues. They can be upset and angry and whatever. But whether it's the president, you know, whether it's Maxine Waters, anybody in government, anybody in any position, if you take it to the level of, you know, hey, go out, make sure to go out and vote or go out and protest or whatever, that's fine. But when it gets to confrontation, and again, from the highest office in the land, the president has a special and a unique responsibility to heal a nation in times when it needs it. That includes the shooting in a synagogue. That includes, you know, whether it's a hurricane that hits or pipe bombs that are mailed or a shooting of Steve Scalise, all of that. And that's where I wish the president, you know, I like a lot of his policies, but I wish he could embrace that kind of comforter-in-chief thing better, because I think that's what Americans really are craving right now, whether they even realize that or not.
I'm fascinated by your position, because you're a Republican and you say you agree with some of his policies, but you also say his rhetoric is as important as a lot of those policies, and you don't seem to agree with that. So how do you dance the line that way as a Republican? Because it's kind of a slippery slope.
Yeah, I think, you know, look, I'm elected by 700,000 people, and I happen to be a Republican. I pretty much fall in line with most Republican viewpoints. And but, you know, like, I'm an Iraq veteran. I came back from Iraq in 2009 and decided to run for Congress. And you know, when you're in Iraq, and literally we'll have political debates because we're bored sometimes, but I don't, you know, put my life on the line less for somebody because they're a Democrat or because they're Green Party or Libertarian or something. We all see ourselves as a community of Americans. Then we come back here, and it just gets mired down in some of this divisive garbage on all sides. And so I look at it and say, look, I have one responsibility, and that is to my district, but also when I die someday, if I'm fortunate enough to be able to look in the mirror and kind of go through what my life was about and go through my time and probably one of the most important positions I'll ever do, I want to have a clear conscience, and that includes this moment, no matter what it leads to. So I'll support the president in every way I can. I actually tried to support President Obama in every way I can when he was president, but on things like tone and stuff, when you have to disagree, I'll do it, and sometimes begrudgingly, but I'll do it.
Do you fear that the door is now open to what I'm feeling like is becoming widespread violence in this country? I mean, not just, you know, a horrible incident at Columbine or Sandy Hook, but all of a sudden, it's just the way of life.
Yeah, I do. I fear it. I fear it comes from our political conversation again. And I mean, we all, and I'm not saying this to shirk, everybody has to bear responsibility for this. I also think, look, you have kids that are spending more time on social media than communing with each other. They feel disconnected. They feel like they don't have a place in society. They're feeling hopeless and desperate. People feel they're very disconnected now. And I think if we could, I don't know how to do it. Like, there's no law I can pass that does it. But if people can come back to appreciating people as people and having conversations and maybe eating together at dinner sometimes, then I think, you know, if Aunt Linda voted for Hillary and Uncle Ron voted for Donald Trump, it's not going to destroy Thanksgiving dinner, and maybe we can all kind of see the value in humanity. I'm a conservative Republican. I don't want everybody in the country to be a conservative Republican because I like a diversity of opinions. I may want to win my arguments, but I want a diversity of opinion.
Well, look, we're out of time. I just got to say one thing. I've kind of followed you, and I've seen you on various shows, and there are positions you take that I disagree with, but the thing that I really admire is that you seem so reasonable and not at all mean-spirited, and I just feel like we need more of you in Congress.
Well, thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Thanks for what you do.